Hi, I'm Nikita, and I'm here to show you guys how to act more like scientists. Because, in reality, we all want to be smart, and we all want to act smart. So, what's a scientific method? Well, there's 5 points to it. 1. Observe. 2. Hypothesize. 3. Investigate. 4. Test. And 5. Evaluate. Oh, and don't forget your glasses and your nice scientific jacket. Come along with me while we discuss the use of the scientific method in an article. So, we're going to be looking into an article written by Hetanti Sundberg and his colleagues, and we're going to be going through the scientific method that they took in it. So, they titled this COVID-19 Lockdown Reveals Tourists as Seabird Guardians. So, we're going to journey back to the Baltic Sea. It's a gorgeous little area, and they have a little island there called Stora Karslo. Before we get started, I'm going to give a shout out to the photographer that I used in this presentation. I used a lot of his photos. His name is Bernd Rostad. He did a little trip to this island, and I thought they were pretty interesting, so I'd add them in here. Alright. Here in Stora Karslo is seabird paradise, as it has been a protected area for seabird colonies like sea eagles, great cormorants, or cliff breeding murres since 1880. It currently has the largest seabird colony in the Baltic Sea, and it's heavily visited with tourists since 1920. It is here that Jonas Hetanti Sundberg and his colleagues have been doing some studies on common murres. But then, COVID-19 pandemic hit us, and that was in 2020. So, these scientists made a really important observation. What was it? Well, it was, tourist numbers will be largely eliminated at Stora Karslo Island seabird sites due to COVID-19. This will give an opportunity to observe the effect of human presence on seabird colonies. So, here's a little picture that I want to show. These are the 2 sites that they had already been working on in the last decade. So on the left here is the Stornasser subcolony, so that's the 2nd largest subcolony on this island. On the right is the Västerberget subcolony, and that is the largest one. So when COVID-19 hit, they actually banned tourists all in part, like fully, from the Stornasser lookout and the Stornasser area. They did allow a little bit of tourist traffic in, but that was only around the Västerberget area. So once they made that observation, they started to investigate. They looked at their own data, used other sources, and studied about seabird behavior, and pondered about what they already knew. What did they know? Well, they knew these 3 things. 1. Humans affect sea eagle presence. 2. There's high sea eagle population numbers due to recovery efforts. And 3. Sea eagles are a threat to other seabird populations. With all this in mind, they created their hypothesis. Their hypothesis was, humans will affect the presence of sea eagles and their behavior, which will affect the breeding success and behavior of cliff breeding common murres. So, with all this, they went on to test. The fun part. How'd they go about testing? Well, to be honest, a lot of the work that they needed had already started. These guys in the past decade, from 2010 to 2020, had gathered information on common murres at 2 different subcolonies. One, the largest one, was Västerberget, and the 2nd largest subcolony, which they also used, was Stornasser. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. Alright, in these studies, they recorded 4 different things. 1, the number of breeding attempts. 2, the hatchling success. 3, the egg laying date. 4 was breeding frenzy. So on top of this, they decided with this new study venture, they would go and compare footage from 2019, which had tourists, and 2020, which didn't have tourists, for the entire common murre's breeding season. So in these videos, they were looking for disturbances caused by sea eagles. In other words, these guys were just acting like spies, logging daily observations and video surveillance, looking to record any times at which a predator would deter these common murres from staying in a group. And, of course, they also needed a number of eagles present per year to really gauge a perspective. They got this from a Swedish species observation system. Alright, let's get down to the results, because that's the fun part. So, with less people around, more sea eagles were now there. And with more sea eagles, they're going to come in and start causing more disturbances with the common murres. And they're going to come in, start spooking them so that they run away from their eggs and separate from their colonies. But unfortunately, when that happens, other predators can come in and they can steal their eggs. Or the eggs could triple down the cliffs. So that really means that there's a lower hatchling success. And unfortunately, when you're being disturbed all the time, you're not going to want to get in the mood to start breeding with each other, you know, and there's no such thing as bird Viagra, so what can you do? So unfortunately, breeding success went down, breeding performance went down, hatchling success went down, and these guys are looking to be in real trouble for their population numbers if this continues. What was interesting is that their feeding frequency and the time that they left the ledges to eat all stayed the same. So what does that mean? That just means that human presence is the main thing to blame in this. That's the main factor that's causing these disturbances in their population numbers. Which, that's very interesting to know because, you know, humans can be their guardian angels. That's a cool thing. So we can use that now in conservation studies possibly. But you know, before any of this can be determined, we're going to need more scientists that can go in and use their scientific methods to do further testing. Alright, thanks guys. Have a good day.